set for 8 o'clock tonight. Well, how about this, Husky Hoop fans? UConn women's basketball star Paige Beckers and alums Brianna Stewart and Crystal Dangerfield are up for an ESPY award. Beckers is up for Best College Athlete on the women's side. Stewart is also up for Best Athlete and Best WNBA Player. Dangerfield is nominated for Best Breakthrough Athlete. The ESPYs are July 10th. Good luck to all. Until next time, happy sports, everyone. Sean Pagano, Fox 61 Sports.
Sean, thanks, and thank you for joining us tonight.
We'll see you tonight at 10 and 11.
Hi, I'm here to apply for the mascot position.
Oh, we don't hire mascots.
But you're an insurance company. You gotta have a mascot.
Yeah, that's not really our thing. I'm so sorry.
Actually, I have an appointment.
Carl?
Yep. Oh!
When your insurance speaks for itself.
They're gonna love me. They're gonna love me.
You don't need gimmicks.
Okay. I'm the MJM Norwal. I know.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Get a quote today.
This is the silence Volvo never wants you to hear. So we are as committed to protecting you in an accident as we are in preventing them.
This is Volvo on call. Is everyone okay?
Making us one of the safest cars in the U.S. And this year, IIHS has awarded a Top Safety Pick Plus to all 2021 Volvo models.
Remember that? That was your thing. You loved that. But your knee didn't. But what if you went here and saw this guy? Fixing knees is his thing. He's as good with knees as you were with the 7-10 split. And his team makes joints better, the way your team used to bring home the bling. So do that one thing you did better than anything at the one hospital in Connecticut dedicated to orthopedics, Hartford Healthcare's Bone and Joint Institute.
Oh, baby, are you going my way? I see you kicking out 4 hours a day, so baby, don't know you're at all. I'm not crazy or a fiend. Not stalker and a fiend. How you know what I see? Let's go. Oh, okay. Got a feeling.
Monitor, check, and lock down your money with security from Chase. Control feels good. Chase, make more of what's yours.
It's your sleight of hand. It's your great escape. It's your all-day, all-night, tech-savvy magic carpet ride. The Hyundai Elantra. It's your journey. Own it. Lease an Elantra for $139 a month or get one for 0% APR plus $1,000 bonus cash. Hurry in.
I'm black and I'm proud. You know, we all should be proud of our color.
Black pride should be a part of our being.
The strength and innovation that comes out of our struggle to survive is Black pride.
Cultural pride is about self-love at a very basic level to me, and just loving who you are, loving where you've come from.
I get up every day grateful to have all this melanin.
So I stand on the shoulders of family members who, their family members grew up on plantations, worked 4 or 5 jobs. I'm first generation everything, and I still give back to my family because that's how important it is to stand on the shoulders of somebody else.
And we should be free like a bird, do everything that we want to do and can do.
We're not going to let anything stop us. Black pride, Black freedom, that is there.
I've taken those things no one else wanted and turned them into something so significant that they are copied.
Those days, this is the day when African Americans were actually freed, even though their freedom was at a cost.
Understanding where our past, where we've come from, I think is extremely important as a people. It helps us to remember the things that we had to overcome to be where we are.
So that's about loving yourself.
It's an opportunity for me to honor my ancestors.
We just have to keep on reaching, searching, believing in ourselves.
Tonight, we pay tribute to a day that reflects the celebration of Black freedom and tells a story of Black pride. I'm Nkwa Sonia.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. It's the voices of those that have gone before us that we want to bring forward this evening. Tonight, we mark Juneteenth, the effective end of slavery in the United States. While Juneteenth is celebrated as a holiday here in Connecticut and most of the country, an important part of this special is to reflect and recognize that there is still a long way to go.
And our goal this evening is not to convince you of the day's importance, but to play a small part in education. And with the help of some of this state's most influential individuals, this is where we begin our story.
This is an opportunity to embrace history.
This is a day when African Americans were actually freed.
Newly freed people dressed up in their finery.
Part of the pride that we feel is about self-love.
Freedom, emancipation, liberation did not happen overnight.
If I don't open my mouth and tell the story, who's going to tell it?
Black history is American history. The story of our nation's independence wouldn't be complete without telling the story of Juneteenth, the day that all slaves claimed their freedom.
Juneteenth is paramount to the emancipation of African people in these United States.
Too often, we find that we, as a people, have been omitted from American history. We need to open up our mouths and tell our story the way we know it.
President Abraham Lincoln declared and signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, the abolishment of slavery in the United States. However, the people in Texas did not get this information before June 19th, 1865.
Freedom, emancipation, liberation did not happen overnight. It was many years in the making.
The former slave owners and others resented the emancipation of the formerly enslaved people. Through the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, they burned property. They harassed the newly freed people. They wanted to maintain slavery. It was predicated on economics. The most economically viable crop was cotton.
They were still burning and killing and lynching Black men, women, and children.
Bodies could be found hanging on trees or floating in rivers. June 19th of 1866, the first Juneteenth celebration, Juneteenth, which came from June 19th, was celebrated in Texas.
I think we as an African American community, part of Juneteenth, part of the pride that we feel is about self-love.
Celebrating an end to a most inhuman act is just the right thing to do.
We celebrate Columbus Day and all these other days. This is a day when African Americans were actually freed. Even though their freedom was at a cost, the whole nation should be celebrating that they finally let the African Americans go who they enslaved, who helped to build this country.
We need to celebrate all that comes with that date and all that came before and after.
It helps us to remember the things that we had to overcome to be where we are.
Many of our educators don't know a lot about the African American experience.
I didn't learn about stuff like this until I was in college.
I don't remember reading a single book by an author of color.
It's sad to say, like, I didn't learn about this until I went to college.
It took me going to college, majoring in English, and then taking Black Lit courses to like have this whole world open up to me, and that wasn't fair to me either. Even though I'm not a person of color, that's not fair to me.
Some students won't go into higher education, so we need, in public schools, especially in elementary and middle, to talk about these things.
I can't be a servant of the public, essentially, and leave out 70% of our kids. There is a need to make sure that education is changing.
One of my students raised their hand and said, "Ms. Jones, why are you reading this book with Black people? It's not February or Black History Month." And it was just shocking to me that they felt like there was a certain month or a certain time that we could talk about groups of people.
This is an opportunity to embrace history.
Include their history, their culture into the curriculum so that they feel seen, represented.
So much more literature is available to students now.
Black history is not just for folks of color. Black history is everyone's history.
All cultures are represented in the United States, and all of our students need to know about that.
Black pride should be a part of our being.
I live, breathe, teach my pride every day.
Well, I'm Black and I'm proud. You know, we all should be proud of our color.
Pride in Black culture means our rich contributions in music, art, and food.
Pride is very central to my beingness.
I don't hate anyone, but I love Black pride. I love who I am, and I thank God every day.
Juneteenth and Black pride should be embraced by people of every race, age, and nationality. The more we learn about each other, the more common ground we discover. Black history is American history, and Black pride is American pride. The only way to ensure a bright and peaceful future for all is to build that future together.
I can't put my pride into words. Just watch me walk. I walk with a limp, but just watch me walk, okay?
It's not often that you hear such wisdom and such words being delivered and put together so beautifully. So to everyone who shared their reflections with us, we thank you humbly and profusely.
Yeah, that was such a moving piece. We still have more for you ahead. A panel of community leaders and lawmakers join us for a discussion on the importance of Juneteenth and the actions being taken here in Connecticut to commemorate the holiday.
But before we head to break, as we continue to highlight the voices of our community, here's Jay Williams, president of the Hartford Foundation of Public Giving.
Blacks have contributed to our American society and our global society in ways that are as meaningful as any other group on the planet. Their contributions in art and science and medicine and technology, literature and business are second to none. But unfortunately, Blacks have been denied and debased the recognition and the opportunity to benefit from those contributions. Whether it be the historical figures that we read about or modern-day heroes like Dr. Tazmikia Corbett, a young Black scientist who has helped us wage and win the battle against the coronavirus, I am proud to be a part of that community and a part of that culture.
Fox 61 special report celebrating Juneteenth, a story of Black pride, sponsored by the Connecticut Sun.
I was born for this moment. Basketball, it's everything. It's my passion, my joy, my stage. But most importantly, this game amplifies my voice to take a stand or a knee to strengthen my community, for my family and for my people, an athlete, an activist. I was born for this moment.
Connecticut weather is always changing.
Inland, the shoreline, the Northwest Hills. No matter where you are, you can always expect more on the Fox 61 Weather Watch.
More tracking, more forecasting, more perspective.
Weather for your hometown. All morning, all day, and all night.
Where and when you need it on the Fox 61 News app.
And now on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.
We don't scare you, we prepare you.
Expect more.
Expect more.
Expect more.
Expect more from the Fox 61 Weather Watch.
Hi, my name is Greg Jones. I'm the Vice President of Community Health and Engagement for Hartford Healthcare. Part of our efforts strategically as it relates to community health and engagement is meeting the population where they are, not having them come to us, but go to them. During the pandemic, setting up vaccine clinics in neighborhoods, but also having sessions and virtual opportunities for folks to engage right from their convenience of their home. We're getting the message out to show folks we see who they are with the needs and interests that they have is what's best for our community.
Fox 61 News special report celebrating Juneteenth, a story of Black pride, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
New tonight, President Biden signs a bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Plus,
historical changes made.
How Juneteenth is being celebrated across the state tonight.
We still have this pride. We're not all free until everybody is free. And so Juneteenth is important to, it should be important to every Black American. It is important to me because I will continue to say what James Brown said. Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud.
And welcome back. Tonight, we are pleased to welcome a panel of Black lawmakers and community leaders. They'll share their reflections on Juneteenth, the state of racial equity in Connecticut and in the nation. Tonight, we'd like to welcome Corey Betts, the Criminal Justice Chair of the Connecticut State NAACP, YWCA President Adrian Cochran, State Representative Brandon McGee, the Reverend Alvin Johnson, a retired pastor from the Bethel AME Church in Bloomfield, and Congresswoman Jahana Hayes. Thank you all for joining us tonight. What an honor to have you all here. The first question for you, Congresswoman Hayes. Juneteenth is not a federal holiday, despite all of what our audience has seen tonight. Why is that, and are there any plans to change it?
Actually, this is a very timely program because right before we began, the Senate just voted and approved the measure that the House had voted on and brought it through. So when you ask the question, why is this happening? Why is it taking so long? It's because, like everything else, representation matters. So we had a Congress who put this bill on the floor in the House, and we overwhelmingly approved it, and it went to the Senate, and less than an hour ago, the Senate just approved it. So very shortly, it will be going to the president's desk to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, and I have a tremendous amount of confidence that it will be signed into law. But just quickly, I mean, in last Congress in the 116, we voted on an Emmett Till anti-lynching bill to make lynching a federal crime. So all of these things that had failed over and over in the Congress was because of who was at the table at these times. So it just underscores that idea that representation matters, and it has to be important enough to the legislators who are in office to move these types of bills along.
Now, Representative McGee, Juneteenth is recognized in Connecticut. When did that happen, and tell us how?
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, I first of all want to thank Representative Hayes for all of, or Congresswoman, excuse me, Hayes for all of her support on the federal level. Here in Connecticut in 2003, the Connecticut General Assembly approved a bill that was signed into law designating the Saturday closest to June 19th of each year as Juneteenth, Independence Day. So although it's not recognized as a state holiday, and I'm so encouraged that soon things will be trickling down from the federal level, we still celebrate or observe what we're calling Black Independence Day here in the state of Connecticut. But as you can imagine, we are hopeful that one of these sessions we will approve a bill that would support making it a national or statewide holiday, allowing for many of our state employees to give back to their communities.
Now, Corey, as far as the legal front is concerned, what are some of the battles that you are seeing that have been fought when it comes to combating anti-Black racism?
Oh, wow. Actually, going on right now here in Connecticut, Amazon had 8 nooses that were found on their site. So we're still dealing with those racist acts here and now in the backyards of our state. So, you know, that's one major thing for sure, if I must say.
Now, Adrian, on the social front, what are some of the tools that an organization like yours needs in order to continue to make this a more equitable playing field for Black folks?
Well, again, and I couldn't agree more with Representative Hayes when she said representation matters. And I think as we continue to make sure that, number one, that we are electing officials that are representing us and are standing up for those things that are right, and also that we're involved as social services organizations in doing our work to help educate people, because so much is about the education, things that aren't taught in school, things that aren't a part of sort of that anecdotal history in households people don't know. And so the idea that we advocate to assure that these types of things are happening. I'd like to share quickly a really interesting article I accidentally came across, and it talked about a different twist on Juneteenth. And this is a perfect example of how even celebrations like this, the attempts to sort of whitewash them and to turn it into something else. So there's a plantation, happens to be in North Carolina, called the Latta Plantation. And I want to share with you that what their plans are for Juneteenth is that they're going to show how white refugees were displaced as a result of Juneteenth. And the advertisement says, come out to the historic Latta Plantation for a one-night event, Saturday, June 19th, actually 2021. You will hear stories from the massa himself, who is now living in the woods. And they went on to emphasize that this program is going to focus on how whites were displaced as a result of this. So this type of thing happening, it's going to continue to happen. It has been happening. What we have to do is make sure that we combat this with truth. We combat this with facts. We combat this by refusing to stand down or step away or to be afraid to speak up to say, no, there's a problem with this. This is wrong. So that's how I see the role of the YWCA Hartford region, as well as our other sister and brother organizations taking a very front seat role.
Now, Reverend John, you've been a pillar of this community for quite some time. What personal reflections do you have about really just, not just your experience, but how Connecticut has been handling these issues?
Well, one of the things that's absolutely critical for us to understand is that education leads to liberation. And one person said, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And it's because the slaves in Texas didn't know they were free. They behaved as though they were still enslaved. Until we as a people, and until the rest of this state, until we understand that we are free, liberated, then we will begin to behave that way. And it's all of these new pieces of legislation talking about we can't teach anything that will make somebody uncomfortable. Well, the bottom line is, if you have an inferior education, you should be uncomfortable. We need to teach people the truth, the whole truth. And Sister Adrienne, nothing but the truth.
Thank you so much to this esteemed panel for your time and for sharing with us. And you can watch the entire conversation on fox61.com.
An important, informative discussion there. And there's still much more ahead on celebrating Juneteenth, the story of Black pride. But before we head to break, a reflection from Pastor A.J. Johnson.
So when we think of America and being prideful of who we are,
it goes beyond slavery. It just doesn't start and end there. We've influenced all kind of things here in this country in white America. And we think that we haven't, but we have. And that's what we should be proudful of, not just in sports, but literally in mathematics, science, technology, and all those different arenas. We should be prideful of who we are.
Fox 61 News special report celebrating Juneteenth, a story of Black pride, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
My name is Kamisha Morris, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have been working at the Institute of Living for the past 16 years. A lot of times, people of color have talked about feeling invisible in a room. Are we seeing the people that we're interacting with? Are we hearing them? We need to begin to have these courageous, hard conversations. It doesn't feel good. You may not feel comfortable, but that's the only way we're going to grow.
You can always expect more on Fox 61 News. And now you can stream it right to your home. We begin here with breaking news. Fox 61 News is now on Roku and Amazon Fire TV with live Fox 61 newscasts. Breaking news from around Connecticut, Verify reports, plus the latest forecast from Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank and the Fox 61 Weather Watch team.
It could absolutely pour.
On demand whenever you need it. Fox 61 News on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Search Fox 61 and download the app today.
I was born for this moment. Basketball, it's everything. It's my passion, my joy, my stage. But most importantly, this game amplifies my voice. To take a stand or a knee, to strengthen my community, for my family and for my people, an athlete, an activist. I was born for this moment.
Fox 61 special report celebrating Juneteenth, a story of Black pride, sponsored by the Connecticut Sun.
Coming up tomorrow, what the Delta variant means in the fight against COVID-19.
And how long will this great weather last? We're live and local all morning tomorrow on the Fox 61 Morning News.
The Fox Sports app is the best NASCAR app. With in-car cameras, the latest and greatest from the best insiders in the business. And keep up with your favorite drivers. I see you, Chase. NASCAR on the Fox Sports app. Best app ever.
Near me, only on the Fox 61 News app. Expect more.
Hi, my name is Jason Bush. I'm a marketing producer at Fox 61, and I was given the honor to be able to be a producer and a video editor on the History of Juneteenth mini documentary, and it really was something that I was able to take pride in as an employee, as an African American, and the speakers that took their time to share their story with us, we all want to thank. The utmost respect goes to them, because this is a story that needs to be told and needs to continue to be told.
Hard work by our Jason Bush as well. Tonight, we'd like to conclude our special by pulling back the curtain to spotlight and celebrate the hard work of the people behind this effort.
And here at Fox 61, it's only the beginning. As we are committed to telling your stories, we are proud to present tonight the CT Cultured Initiative.
Hi, I'm Alana Selden, a digital content producer here at Fox 61.
And I'm Jada Frillo, the assignment editor here at Fox 61, and we executive produce this special.
Following the Juneteenth special, we are furthering Fox 61's commitment to diversity and inclusion by serving people who have for years been underrepresented in the media.
The CT Cultured Initiative aims to amplify the voices of communities of color here in Connecticut. This work is not rooted in excluding, but including.
With a deep intersectional lens, our goal is to dig deep and share your stories.
Through authentic representation and community engagement, CT Cultured will feature thought-provoking pieces that educate and inspire.
Have a story that you'd like to share? Connect with us by emailing ctcultured@fox61.com.
Our Fox 61 team working so hard on this special today. All right, that's going to conclude our special coverage this evening.
But before we go, we'd like to present some of the voices of the future. And that is students at John F. Kennedy School in Windsor, and they're sharing their hopes and dreams. From all of us here at Fox 61, good night and happy Juneteenth.
I didn't know that slaves weren't really, some slaves were not free until 2 years after it was announced, so that made me upset. No one should ever have to go through what they went through in their whole entire life.
I think we should celebrate, everybody should celebrate that holiday to congratulate Black people for being who they are.